It's the time, yeah, burn. Show, tune in right now. Like and share, our city needs that vow. Flint City News got truth to share. When we fight the darkness, we repair. Won't give up, we're standing tall and proud. Voices rising strong, no longer shrouded. Residents deserve what's right and fair. Together we can lift the despair. We fight, we win, we break the chains. Tanya Burns won't stand out in the rain. Our city dreams will make them true. With every step it all renews. In a step it all renews.
Listen, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. I hope everyone has had a absolutely wonderful and Merry Christmas. I hope the holidays have been good to you. Drop in where you're from. I already see Marcia in here from California. I see Patrick G. First, let me thank my producer. We got Jonathan. I know he don't like coming on screen. I want to thank my producer, Jonathan. I also want to thank my two moderators, Sheena Beckton and Patrick Jean, South Carolina and Alabama in the house. Look, not too many people who work my podcast are here. And look, if we're all of y'all, Michelle, yes, it's been forever. And if I do a call in, Michelle, I'm hanging up on you after 1 minute because you be having 25 million questions. And you didn't have my number since we've been 4 years old, okay? 4 years old. So listen, Pasadena, California in the house. And I have not did what I need to do on my other devices. And I got to go all the way up. I missed y'all, but I've had a lot of things going on. And it's been a lot of things happening. So Merck 76, hey, and here we is. And I got to use this to go. Why ain't that working? And here we is, Aluna Calloway Lang. Look, I got to do it this other way. Beverly, don't call me in the morning. Tell me something you went to sleep on me. Don't do that. Don't do that. Listen, R2M6 MCG26. That's a whole lot. But look, it's two numbers in there for the lottery, y'all. You know how we do 26. Play that number if y'all hit share with me. Country Bama. Where else we got? Let me see. Purple Lily Hayes. Okay, I like that name. 810 Flint. Xavier, I'm glad you in here because I got a show or two that I'm doing all on just your stuff because I appreciate the fact that you watch, you highlight, you get the feel and the grasp of what Flint residents are looking for, what's happening in our city, and not just in our city. Y'all need to also, if you're clicking on here, slide over and click on 8110 Flint. He does a beautiful job on there. I'm going to use some of his stuff tonight. It's Auntie M. Hey, and happy holidays. JP6, what's up? Tasha Lynn. Hey, Reed Johnson. Reed sends me a good morning prayer every morning. She must know I need prayer, y'all. She must know I need it. Every morning is a prayer between 5 and 6 a.m. And I respond generally most of the time because I am up. So if not, I make sure I get back to her. I do that. Avis Hopkins, Charlotte Bounds, 704. Cheryl Hart, look, Beverly in there, talking with Tony Ray. Oh, I like that name. Go put your little show up in there. Is it DeWitt y'all 897? Okay. If I messed it up, charge it to my mind and not my heart. Calbert Francis. And oh, Tashlyn, happy birthday to your mom. Happy 75th. Oh my gosh, that's a blessing. That's a blessing. So look, I need y'all to click like, share, subscribe. And I need to do the same thing because I did not do it. So I did reduce the showdown because there's been so much going on. I hope everybody had a good holiday. My family was kind of split within a couple of states. It was the ones that were stuck in Michigan, North Carolina, and then the ones scattered out. But we had a good time. I did post the pictures where my cousin who does too much, Larisha Jones, had us all wearing matching pajamas. And the kids love it. I think we all get, it's not like a lot of kids. The kids are kind of like grown kids now with mortgages. So, but listen, I hope everyone had a good holiday. St. Mark Baptist Church, Lydia McNeely, hello, new one, hello. So St. Mark, that's Pastor Thompson. So we're gonna get on into this. I need to do a couple things to share this out. So y'all give me, be patient with me. What's the song? Please be patient with me. God is not through with me yet. I'm still angry they didn't let me sing the solo in church. But I should be over that by now, right? I should be. So we're gonna get started. So, where's my internet? Where's my internet? Y'all, while I'm looking at us, hit them like buttons and share this out. Y'all know my internet is bad in the 1st and 6th ward. Okay, here we go. Now it's kind of working. Kind of. So I am trying to, okay. So we're going to talk about some things. We're going to have a series of shows because I have a lot to talk about. And I don't want people to think that politics is just Flint, the Flint City Council, because I have been a political junkie my whole life. And I don't know if I ever told the story of he'll be my great grandfather, because it was my grandmother's father. My grandmother in a little town in Tennessee, she was the first person to have a motorized a car. And my grandfather was the mayor of a little town. And so politics is just in my family. I would be up to 4 or 5 o'clock on the phone with my mother because she has some very strong political views. Very, very strong ones. Very strong ones. So listen, click like, share, subscribe. We're going to get this party going. I don't know where y'all at. If y'all in California, where y'all at, it's cold here. It started snowing about 6:30 this morning, 6:30, 7 o'clock. Yes, I said you would need a motorized vehicle. I know, right? Right. So listen, it was snowing. The wind is blowing. I mean, it's cold. It's cold. And I don't think it gets over 20 for the next couple of days. I do not think it does. So one of the first things, because when we talk about politics, and I'm going to say thank you to all of you for being here with me tonight. Good evening, JL. Really 7 degrees and sunny. Okay, thank you for that. Yeah, we're not. We're windy. It's cold. It's ice underneath the streets. It's slippery. You're going to slide around. So I believe politics, you have to pay attention. I also believe that in order for any place where you live, in order to have a good result and have good representation, you got to make sure you vote. And you have to vote in the people that have your best interest. If they're not willing to meet with you and talk with you, don't vote for them. And they probably shouldn't be in public office. And I mean that. Too much is at stake now, too much. And so if they have never met with you, had a town hall, met you at a library, or had a town hall at a library, at a school, or any other place, if you don't hear their voice and you can't ask them questions and let them know, stop giving up your vote. You need to make sure you got someone from the federal level, the state level, the county level, down to your local level, because it makes a difference. You need to have someone all the way up the chain. And if they are not talking about what's going on in your city, they're not going to start talking about it when they get elected. If they don't talk about those things, what's happening and what they see wrong, how are they going to work to fix the things that bother you or your family or affect you if you've never heard them speak? They haven't allowed themselves to be asked questions. It's just vote for me because who I am. Stop voting for people because they're your cousin, sister, brother, auntie, best friend. Stop it. Or I went to kindergarten with them, or I went to church with them, or my mama auntie that told me I got to put a handle on her name told me to vote for her. Do your homework, because it affects everything. When people talk about their SNAP benefits, their health care benefits, when they talk about homelessness, and shout out to Debbie, was Debbie or Diane Clark in here? I saw y'all up in here. I saw y'all, Debbie and Diane, Tanya Jones, Beverly Biggs, oh God, who else? Stanley Wood, Taylor. And so everyone who is part of the Color Law Coalition, because these ladies get out there and do the work. And feeding the homeless is real. It is real. Tanya, we need to schedule some tanning time. Girl, I didn't even get dark this summer, so why are you playing? So I need to be in there like this and turning over. So listen, I'm so serious about the politics. When we look at things, it's serious when you take it. For me, I take it serious when they're rounding up what they call illegal aliens, and all the people aren't illegal. And last time we saw that was Auschwitz, when they were taking people to the gas chambers. There's a better way. If the system is broken and people are coming into the country illegally, fix the process so that it doesn't take a long time. Fix the process. They're blowing up boats. I don't know how they know all these boats got drugs on them, but we know they don't. They're seizing tankers. Last I heard it was 3. If it's more than 3, let me know. I've had to pull back on the news because Flint will swallow you up and bring you down. And I can't take all it. I really want to enjoy the holidays this year. So she ain't gonna tell me I need a tan. So one of the things that I had a meeting earlier this year. I didn't even put the picture up. There will be a meet and greet with, he's actually a medical doctor, Raphael Bird. Hello. Thank you. Look, and and don't forget to, I'm gonna have to put it up bigger, I believe. So it's going to be, and it's on my page, it's going to be January the 12th. Oh, thank you for making that big. Is that 12? No, January the 13th, 2026. And it's on my page. And we'd like for you to sign up, because when they're running, I've met with him, I've talked to him several times. And so Dr. Abdul El Said is running for office. He is a medical doctor, he's an epidemiologist. We know that in Flint that we've had issues with the water. We have cancer. That's how they measure epidemiologists doing cancer cluster studies. So he will be a meet and greet. It will be January the 13th. It will be at the Ferris wheel. You are my guest. You need to go on and sign up. And I told him, I said, Flint people, they're going to ask you questions. Hey, we have homelessness issues. We got everyone that's come to Flint and wants Flint's money, but they don't want to do for Flint. I'm going to hold you accountable, and the people need to hold you accountable. We need to make sure we got people at every level. We want to talk about economic development. We want to talk about, we know that all the money that's come down from the MEDC, it never reaches into the neighborhoods to you. It never touches you. The minimum amount of people that can say, oh, we had $1 billion come into Flint and my family benefited from it. You don't hear that. And so when you don't hear that, you need to make changes. I'm making changes. I do podcasts. I want people to have good information. I want them to have factual information. And that is the reason. So January the 12th, please, it's Tuesday, January the 13th. My bad, y'all. Tuesday, January the 13th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Come ask Dr. Abdul El Said. He's run before from other offices. He made a good run and he's out there. Make your own opinion. And I'm going to tell you, I had someone come on my podcast and say, oh, he's Muslim. Well, you're a racist, the person who came on. And I didn't appreciate that. So don't come with no foolishness, because what I'm not doing is anybody's foolishness. He wants to talk. He wants to hear the concerns of Flint, and he needs to hear them from you. Senator Gary Peters will not be running again. He's done. Senator Peters is going to be done. And so he's running to take that. And I want people to come out to talk with him. Ask him, make up your own decision and get your own informed decision. So again, Tuesday, January 13th, 2026, Ferris wheel. He will be there. I want you to meet him. Don't take my opinion. Meet him yourself. Very humble person. Very humble. And we need someone who understands in that seat to get us some medical care. People still got hair falling out, rashes, kidney cancer. All the things that Woodson talks about as he's been fighting to get a cancer cluster study. We have clusters of where cancer is actually at. So come out, and everyone is welcome. And look, you don't even have to like me to come, because I'm going to still treat you good. This is about changing our city, working together. Come out, meet them, and it's going to be a good time. There will be refreshments and some food will be served. So please come out to meet him and ask him for yourself. Don't vote for somebody you ain't never heard from no more. Stop doing that, because it's not working for you. It's not. Okay, we're going to go on to the next one. And look, please click like, share, subscribe, and then donate to, because I can't do this without Jonathan. So please kindly donate to Cash App, $J Eaton Media. All proceeds go 100% to him. 100% goes to him, because it takes a lot to produce a show, get everything in order, and to make sure it flows. And I had a lot of information that I need to be going over. A lot. Hey, B. Marie. Hey, Nikki. Hey, B. Marie. Gutter Black. I just like saying that. She in Dallas. I just like that. And if I missed it, charge it to my mind, not my head. I don't see all of them that go up because they're on this side of my screen. So we're going to talk about it. I mean, and some of the things we're going to talk about today is going to be, we're going to talk about that post with Lori Rogers. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the young man the Flint police officer who was altered getting out. We're going to talk about the vehicle who was in the back seat. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the water. Why don't people trust Flint? Why don't they trust? Hey, Clack, there's an article on my page you need about Ted, somebody with the B, not ever having a town hall. I meant to send it to you, but my mama called. So I meant to send it to you. So it's a thank you, Country Bama, for the little love donation. Appreciate you. All proceeds go 100% to Eaton Media. I could not do this without him. So when we talk about the things that are going on, I want people to understand why people don't trust the water. And there was a study with systemic racism is what they said was done, where they take poor communities, predominantly Black, urban, and take them over and just they took Flint's assets, poisoned the people. So people here have a reason not to trust. For 18 months, people were told to drink the water and that nothing was wrong with it. Now, the water was every color that it could be, yellow, brown. It was every color, looked like sweet tea. And they said nothing was wrong. Hey, Christine Chandler. Hey, Drew. And so when we have a community that was poisoned for 18 months, people have a reason to not trust. So over the past couple of years, I try to make sure I make myself available to act. It's not just to my residents, it's to the people of Flint. And one thing that I learned in my ward, where I literally went out because they said, oh, these people aren't answering their doors to get their service lines changed. So I knocked on doors, to see. And at the same time, if the sidewalks look bad, I wrote them down, sent them in too. So we learned that all the service lines were not changed. We also knew that the city had been at 90% with changing them since 2019. We also know that people are still today brushing their teeth with bottled water because they don't trust the water. And why? They have a good reason. So I work with a wonderful group, Carrie Cochran, who I remember she called me, and I've shared this story before as we talked about the administrative consent order, which is our infrastructure and our water quality and our management of our water plant and distribution plant. And her and I talked about, the service lines. Working with Carrie Cochran with Scripps News was for about 2 years, and we developed a really good friendship. Our parents had some of the similar things that they were going through. And so she did a series of articles, 4, I believe. We're gonna watch 3, but she did 3, and they won an Emmy. So the Flint water crisis, which is why people don't trust Flint water crisis, everything you need to know. And so I want people to understand when they say why, like, oh, Flint people don't vote, because they don't feel confident in the people that are elected. But you have the power to change that in 2026. 2026, you have the ability to change that. So we're going to play a couple videos because I'm going to tell you, I still use bottled water to brush my teeth. I don't use, even with the filter on, I just don't use, I buy bottled water, and I buy jugs of water. Haven't used the ice dispenser and water dispenser on the refrigerator in years yet. I mean, since, the water crisis. And so when we talk about this and how it affects people and the systemic racism and other issues, we know that this would not have happened in a more affluent community. Furthermore, the city of Flint was failed. We stayed at 90% and we still don't have all the service lines fixed, to where the state of Michigan said, Flint, and underneath this administration, you failed. We are taking over the service line replacement. And they did. They took it over. We don't know how many service lines, because the state has it, waiting to get that back from Oswald. And it's just how Flint was done. We should have been done. Benton Harbor has completed theirs. Other cities have had a water crisis service line replacement and completed them. Detroit has started. Now, they didn't have a water crisis, but they're changing 250 service lines a week, getting ahead of it. That's what they've been doing, and making sure that they don't have what happened to Flint. So infrastructure is a big thing. And Flint was established in 1855. So repairing our infrastructure, then we had a man-made disaster is what it was. We got some work to do. So I'm showing a couple of things because I don't want people to forget. So water is the issue. The quality of what they keep stating that we test below the lead levels of the lead copper rule, that we have been well below it for so many months, but people don't trust it. They just don't trust it. And you can't, it's difficult to say, how do you trust it? Because you're dealing with the administration that isn't transparent. It's not transparent. And it's not like we have our state rep telling us, this is what you need to do, and I'm going to get this information from. We don't have that. So Flint has kind of been really on its own. You're really on its own. But one of the things I want people to know, that administrative consent order, I talked about, I don't know where mine is at, because I didn't tore up 2 or 3 of them and wrote all kind of, I write notes on my stuff. And then I put sticky notes. I ran out of room, and it's like 100, almost 200 pages. And I wrote on every single page of it. And so JP said, and no one is in jail. No, You poisoned a poor community and minority. Wouldn't have happened in Birmingham. Wouldn't have happened in Bloomfield Hills. Wouldn't have happened in Lake Fenton. It would not have. So we're going to play a couple things because we're going to bring some things up to date. And this is why people don't trust the water, because public officials lie. So let's get that first video up. And when you get it in, just hit the play button.
One of this nation's most shocking public health scandals, the water crisis in Flint, Michigan. Corroded pipes leached lead into the drinking water and exposed tens of thousands of residents to harmful contamination. Last spring, Scripps News investigated the progress Flint was making to replace its pipes. And our reporting is now being cited in a federal judge's order to hold the city of Flint in contempt of court for not finishing the job. When we went back to Flint recently, we found 10 years on, a city still reeling from this crisis. 10 years after the start of the deadly water crisis here in Flint, Michigan, Scripps News has learned that hundreds of dangerous lead pipes are still being used to carry water into residents' homes. But as we drove across this city and knocked on doors, we discovered people living in some of those houses had no idea that was the case.
I'm Katie Beck, I'm a journalist, and I'm doing a story about lead pipes.
This man, Wyatt Drake Peel, told us he's been renting this home in Flint since December. We were the first to tell him it's still being serviced by lead pipes.
We use the filter, although, with how long this is stretched out, who knows if that's enough at this point. I'm sure it's not. I think a lot of people assume that it's done.
How much trust do you have in the city government?
Out here, little to none.
A decade into this crisis, records obtained by Scripps News reveal that more than 200 homes like Wyatt's have known lead service lines that have not yet been replaced. And our own Scripps News analysis of city and state records show more than 1,000 addresses in Flint have not been inspected for dangerous pipes at all.
You can see they marked the flag for where water lines are.
That includes Jeff Ropp's home. He showed us the flags on his front lawn that he says have been sitting here for months, the last time workers came to his home.
In order for them to come out and do the work, you have to fill out a waiver, which I've submitted this document at least 3 or 4 times. I left the messages like I was supposed to on the line at City Hall.
The city advertises that phone line as the place for residents to call for all requests related to the pipe replacement projects.
How many times do you call that number?
Oh, I don't know, probably a dozen or more. They've never called me back.
The worst state to live in right now is Michigan.
Uh-oh. I guess we
I
have
made that same phone call 5 times, and I still, I did that 2 years ago, and I still never got a phone call back.
I too have called that number, no return call. So I can imagine the residents are pretty fed up.
Melissa Mays is more than fed up.
What kind of trust do people have in this city's government?
None. We don't trust the water because we know it's coming through bad pipes, and we don't trust the people because of their actions, but most importantly, their inactions.
Mays and her family were among the tens of thousands who drank the water here for 18 months before city and state officials admitted it was poisoning children.
I handed my kids tap water instead of pop, instead of sugary juices, because I thought I was doing right. I cooked at home. I had no idea that every time I was handing them their favorite spaghetti, I boiled it down and it was heavy metal spaghetti. You can hurt me, whatever, but you've messed up my kids. That's where I draw the line.
Today is day 3,287 since Flint has had clean and safe water.
May's family's experience motivated her to stand up and fight. And in 2017, Flint residents led by Mays won a historic settlement when a federal judge required the city and state to replace Flint's corroded service lines by 2020. But last spring, our investigation showed the work wasn't finished. and that after Flint Mayor Sheldon Neely took office in 2019, work on the pipes slowed to a crawl. The city missed multiple court-order deadlines in the process. We sat down with the mayor back then, and he vowed that the work was nearly done.
We're rounding out this project that we're scheduled to be able to complete this very, very soon.
In March, a federal judge cited our Scripps News reporting in his order, holding the city of Flint in contempt for failing to finish the project. He declined to hold Mayor Neely himself in contempt. When we reached out to the mayor's office for comment, a spokesperson sent us this statement. The city of Flint's water quality is in compliance with all state and federal regulations. And they added, under the settlement agreement, there are approximately 30 addresses requiring lead service line excavation remaining. That number was much different from the hundreds of homes we found with known lead pipes, and the more than 1,000 addresses we discovered that hadn't yet been inspected. At the same city council meeting in early April, where members talked about that phone line, they also said they were in the dark about how much work was still left on the project.
When are we going to get the right, I don't want to say the right, the truthful answer on where we are with pipe replacement?
We had hoped to speak directly to the mayor to try and get to the bottom of questions like these. His office declined our interview request in days leading up to our trip, so we decided to see if we could catch him at City Hall.
Hi, how are you? Good, how are you? Good. I'm Katie with Scripps News, Katie Beck, and we had requested an interview with the mayor. We're doing an update on the water crisis and the status of finishing that. So we were hoping he'd speak with us and answer a couple questions.
I'm sorry, we're not going to be able to do that today. We're just not. We're not. I can provide a statement. I'd be happy to.
We'd like to be able to have him respond to the many questions people have in this community about when this is going to be finished.
Okay. I understand your concerns. We have a press conference starting in the Dome in 20 minutes. If you'd like to come down and join us.
But while we waited to be taken to the press conference room, we discovered the mayor's office had suddenly moved it to another location, and the spokesperson confirmed it was to avoid our questions.
You're having a press conference and you're excluding us from it.
Yes.
Because of what?
Because we're going to stay on topic in this press conference.
Following our visit, a city spokesperson explained in an email that the mayor has much less flexibility right now. But we still wanted to know why they told us only 30 addresses remained to be serviced when our investigation had dug up more than 1,000. The city told us our number was accurate, but that it included residents who never consented or were not responsive to the city's attempts to do the work. We found the city had included Jeff Ropp on a list of non-responsive homeowners in 2022, despite his claim of signing consent forms at least 3 times and calling the city repeatedly, but getting no response.
There's a judge that found the city in contempt here in the last couple of weeks. So if they can ignore a judge in a court, ducking my phone calls and ignoring me, I guess, isn't too difficult.
The city now tells Scripps News it's committed to finishing the project and even started work late last year at the properties it says never consented.
I didn't get any kind of communication at all.
But Jeff Ropp is still waiting and says after all his years struggling to get the city to do its job, he's now ready to leave Flint.
It's a shame. I've been a salesman for the city in the past and tried to tell other people how great it is. Get to a point where you're just exhausted by it and the anxiety of it, and you just, enough's enough.
Okay. You can cut it, please. And thank you. So Jeff Rope is a resident of my ward, and I gave his number to Scripps News. Literally, when I say fighting to get his check, it was insane because according to the court order, everyone should get their service line checked. I literally went up and down on the line. What was it with? It was Eric Pocan, and we went to every house. So Flint said it had historical records. Well, Flint's historical records, it is flooded. Flint is an old city. They're just not kept. They're just not there. And so a lot of these were in my ward that hadn't been changed. Joliet Street, and Thomas Street, Norbert, and that's the street she was driving down. So working with them to make sure my residents in my ward, because that's my responsibility. And then I had some people who weren't in my ward helping them to get their service lines looked at. The city never changed his. They stated because the homes down the street, across the street, next door were all copper, that his did not need to be excavated. So when you have a mayor who comes into a water crisis and makes it go away, it's a problem. Because what they don't do, if you don't have people at every level fighting for you, then it gets stopped. So if we go to the mayor, he doesn't listen. Okay, then we go to the state rep. We go to the state rep, we can't get her to talk. She's never done a town hall. She doesn't speak to the people. And she may be uncovered. She's a great hairdresser. She used to do my hair. But I don't think that this is for her, not into a city that people say it's a dark cloud over it. Flint needs progressive leadership and good leadership. And to communicate. If I can't ask you a question and talk to you, I'm still waiting on some emails back I had for her about COVID that I emailed her. I still haven't got a response. And so when we talk about these things, they're real. And I don't want us to minimize it. Jeff Raup is in my ward. Jeff Raup and me went up and down trying to, and not just him. I can't tell you how many, to be honest with you. When people say, oh my goodness, no, Mr. Peachy, who comes into council and says, she's got all these sidewalks changed. Yeah, because I knocked on those doors and walked those streets. And when I went to the doors and knocked and saw that the sidewalk was a trip hazard, I created an Excel sheet and sent it in. So I figured from there, I'm going to make it worth my while and get it done. And so that's the thing that we have to start looking at, Flint's issues and working with people. But we need to have somebody at every level. Otherwise, we get left out. The almost $1 billion that came into Flint, people don't feel like they can touch it. It hasn't touched them. It hasn't made their lives, it hasn't benefited their lives. They'll say, oh, we got a $300 water credit. Well, most people said they didn't want the water credit. You know, they wanted something else that they could do something with. And then it didn't go towards your back balance. It went on the back end. So I want people to know, because when we talk about until we change leadership, you literally right now the state has it. You have to then go through when people say, oh, well, you know, if we change, we need a forensic audit. We don't get all those records. We don't. City council now has to FOIA information. We have never had to FOIA documents before. Not ever. Not ever have we had to. So let's play the, y'all hit that like button. So let's play that next video because I want people to know that was Jeff Raup, 6th Ward.
When officials switched the source of the city's water in a cost-cutting move to the highly polluted Flint River. Its corrosive water caused underground pipes to begin leaching toxic amounts of lead into Flint's drinking water. As part of a settlement with Flint residents, the city was required to find and replace every lead water line. The court-ordered deadline for the entire project was January of 2020, more than 3 years ago. Just this past February, a federal judge determined the city has violated and is violating the settlement agreement and concluded it has not done what it has promised to do. And all along, the city could have tapped further into $100 million in state and federal funds set aside in that settlement for Flint to get the lead out. But our Scripps News investigation found that the pace of inspections has dropped more than 95% from a peak in 2018.
What is taking so long? We will not rush through this process just to say that we got it done.
Under Mayor Sheldon Neely's watch, the city of Flint has missed 3 court deadlines to finish the job. He blamed the first 2 on delays caused by the previous mayor and the pandemic, which initially did slow down work for much of the nation. We pressed him on the most recent miss.
And then there was another deadline after the pandemic started, and that was in September of 2022.
You got the data in front of you. Deadlines were set and deadlines were missed. I admit to that, right? Some could be contributed to me and some could be contributed to other pieces, right?
Early in his term, Mayor Neely's own administration cited the historic lack of proper record keeping for the city's failure to get the job done. But 3 years later, we discovered the city still does not know where its own contractors have carried out much of the work.
Does the city know where work has been done?
In many cases, we're evaluating that today.
So what's the number overall that needs to still be completed?
Well, those numbers are elusive to say. I don't want to be nailed down to actually giving a particular number.
How do you go down the punch list of homes that you have to complete or homes that you have to visit if right here, as you and I are talking, you don't seem to know how many more there are to go?
You want me to give you a number?
1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000.
I give you percentages. More than 90% of this process has been completed.
That's a number he repeated over and over again, no matter how hard we tried to pin him down.
We're going to stick with the number of more than 90%.
But Scripps News discovered more than 90% complete is also exactly where the city said it stood in this press release from August of 2020, nearly 3 years ago.
Flint is being left behind again, and that cannot happen.
Addie Rolnick is an attorney for the Natural Resources Defense Council, an environmental advocacy group that helped win the legal settlement on behalf of Flint's residents.
It's still not fixed.
The city has mismanaged this program for years.
And we found health risks are once again growing. Lead in Flint's drinking water dropped to its lowest level in 2021. But the most recent tests showed levels triple that amount. Still just below the threshold for action by the EPA, but trending in the wrong direction.
9 parts per billion, which is high. Our goal is to get the lead pipes out.
But when we visited Flint, we found crews on the street 9 years into this crisis, searching only now for dangerous water pipes at people's homes and finding them.
A project that was very easy to begin is more challenging to complete because we're still searching out a lot of those lines and trying to find and locate all of them.
The reason why really I'm pressing a little bit here today is that there are real people who are waiting for help and have been calling the city saying, please come to my house, please check my pipe.
Yeah, but that's not a statement of fact, Mark. I can't accept that as a statement of fact.
We shared 7 different stories of Flint residents with the mayor, including Adia McCullough, who all told us that they tried to get city contractors out to their homes, but are still waiting 9 years later. The mayor had trouble believing that.
If they're calling here, we have health navigators going door to door. The city hall is open every day. Our phone lines are active and operational.
But the day we sat down with the mayor, here's what happened when we called the city's Get the Let Out number for residents.
The user's mailbox is not available at this time. Thank you. Goodbye.
Can you put your head up just a little bit, buddy? There we go. Thank you.
Days later, the city told us it put a work order in for Adia's home. But life on the front lines of this crisis has broken Adia's trust in the city of Flint.
Something that shouldn't have happened should have been fixed immediately. And we shouldn't still be here years later trying to prove that it's not fixed.
If you live in a Michigan zip code and have 0 DUIs in the last 5 years, listen carefully.
Was that the end of it? That's not, I don't think that's the end. Can we pick it up past the commercial y'all, you guys may, and ladies and gents may have to work with me. He can pick that back because I wanted to finish for her. 20, they were since 2020, it stayed at 90%. It was not. This is an administration failure. I wasn't on council. This was an administration failure. Was also told before by someone who said, just make sure you bring back those water samples so that they're the way that I want them. Okay. So, I don't know if you can hear me, Jonathan. We talked about, they said 95 is a 95% drop in excavations. That is a huge drop. Yep, that's a huge. So we're gonna go on to play the next one. So Hadia is in my ward too, and Michelle Young. So Jeff Roth, Michelle Young, Hadia, they all did news articles because I wanted to bring awareness. 6th Ward, I knew my residents who weren't excavated, who have been waiting for a decade. And so it took literally me working with Scripps News to get their service lines done. That was just a lie. And it was more than that. So when we talk about you have a water crisis, people were poisoned, lead leached, and along with other PFAS, TTHMs, and other things, that it should have been done. And for people to have to go the extra, like literally fighting, literally. And so I know these things. These are residents in my ward that I work with and many more. But these are just 3. I know Michelle is on here tonight. And so, but that's why I say, when you vote, stop voting for people who show you who they are. Dr. Maya Angelou, when people show you who they are, believe them. Believe them. How do you stay at 95% for 5-6 years? Service line replacements are still incomplete. We don't even know how many. Everyone is not done to this day. The numbers, he stated, I'm going to give you elusive numbers. They say that the money was mismanaged. It was mismanaged so bad that the state took it over and said that you are incapable, the city of Flint, of repairing it. And before we go to the next one, we don't have a DPW. We have a DPW assistant in training. He's 25 or 26 years old. His name is Marwan Solahadin. He lives in Windsor, Canada. He lives in Windsor. He drives back and forth, doesn't hold any licensing, doesn't have to come to Flint City Council meetings. He doesn't have to talk about anything that's pertaining to it. He's supposed to prepare it, give it to, I believe, Scott Dungy, or whoever, but he doesn't have to come because he comes in at 7, he leaves 3, because he's got to drive back out the country. And I mean, out the country. Canada is not a part of the U.S. We do not have a Department of Public Works director, the most important job for our infrastructure. They have a 25, 26-year-old who lives in Windsor, and he's not going to be moving to the U.S. He just bought a house in Windsor. Doesn't hold the light. He's kind of like the on-the-job training. So Ego is upset because they have stated that he's not qualified. Oswald said Clyde is not qualified. Clyde Edwards, the city administrator, is not qualified to be our DPW. He is the acting DPW city administrator. He doesn't know anything about DPW. Clyde was an accountant. He's the city administrator. We do not have a DPW director. We have a in training who lives in Windsor, who just bought a house in Windsor, Canada, and he drives back and forth every day. You can't make this up. You cannot make it up. So I did send our last meeting, or right before, he needs to come to city council to speak, and I've got some questions. I got a whole list of questions. I have a whole list. Just like we met our engineers, I couldn't understand it. The language barrier was so difficult. I even went out to speak with them. It was so difficult. So again, Eric Oswald said the Clyde is not qualified to be the DPW. We've got some issues with our ACO. Y'all remember the ACO, the one that was passed on September the 23rd. It was the last document that Councilman Quincy Murphy voted on to give them that, which means Flint now has to bear the burden of fixing the mismanaged funds through Mayor Neely, which is millions and millions and millions of dollars. And Kenneth Miller, who used to work for the city of Flint, I was told Clyde ran him away. He was the DPW. He quit. He wants to be treated like a grown man. You're not going to micromanage me. And basically, you're not going to talk to me crazy when I come here qualified with 35 years of experience from Detroit. And we keep losing people because they micromanage. The almost entire planning and development department gone. We've had with 2 fire chiefs or 3 or whatever. We've had 2 or 3 police chiefs. Only person that is with the Mayor Neely when he came into office is Clyde Edwards. And Eric Oswald said he is not qualified to be the Department of Public Works director. And he's not. He's not. Mr. Miller left because of Clyde, is what I am told. So when we keep losing talent, now we got a 25, 26-year-old who lives in Windsor, who bought a house, and he planned on moving here. Windsor, Canada. He got to cross the bridge to get here. He's not even a U.S. citizen. You can't make this up. You can't. So he's in training, doesn't have the license. And also the guy that they sent up, Mr. Hudson, he's out of Texas. He hasn't been certified yet to work for the city, but that's what he came up with, the meters, and we need to replace every meter and all of that. And that's a whole nother thing I'm waiting on to get something back from, because I talked to the distributor. And he said, they're not telling the truth. So let's go ahead and let's play the next one, please. Thank you.
Deadlines were set and deadlines were missed. I admit to that, right? Some could be contributed to me, and some could be contributed to other pieces, right?
Those words by Flint Mayor Sheldon Neely were aired in a Scripps News investigation in May, and some of them are now being cited in court documents asking a federal judge to find the city and its mayor in contempt of court after they say the city missed yet another deadline. The court motion also asks the judge to issue a daily fine of $500, paid jointly by the city and its mayor in his official capacity until Flint complies with its court-ordered deadlines to identify the full scope of its remaining work to replace lead drinking water pipes across the city. Scripps News reported this past May how nearly a decade after the Flint water crisis began, thousands of residents may still need their drinking water pipes inspected for toxic lead and other health hazards.
So what's the number overall that needs to still be completed?
Well, those numbers are, elusive to say. I don't want to be nailed down to actually giving a particular number.
In an April interview with Scripps News, Flint Mayor Sheldon Neely, who took over the city 3.5 years ago, repeatedly declined to share how many homes still need to be inspected for potentially toxic water pipes.
You want me to give you a number?
1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 5,000.
I give you percentages. More than 90% of this process has been completed.
More than 90% complete is also exactly where the city said it stood in this press release that we found from August of 2020, nearly 3 years ago. Our own Scripps News analysis showed the work on Flint's pipes in recent years has slowed to a crawl.
Now that we're getting down to the last few lines, they're very difficult to find those lines because we're so close to the finishing point.
But we told Neely about 7 different Flint residents who we discovered had repeatedly contacted the city, but are still waiting to get contractors out to their homes after all these years, including Adia McCullough. She told us that her 7-year-old son, Robbie, has had to drink bottled water his entire life while they wait for the city to dig underground and inspect their water lines.
They came and spray painted the pipeline, and they put little flags and then they left and they never did the work. It feels like you don't matter. It feels like the world just keeps going on, and you keep going on. But like, everyone here is not important enough.
This woman's name is Adia. After we told the mayor about Adia and gave the city her address and phone number in late April, he pledged to do something about it.
Now I know her name. Now that you're bringing it to me, I will send a team out.
We asked the mayor how long residents like Adia should have to wait for a team to assess their homes. Going forward from today, how long should they have to wait before someone from the city either shows up at their house or actually starts excavation?
But once that call comes in and then we catalog that call, I would assume no more than 2 weeks before they can see some level of action. And thank you on behalf of Adina that you brought to our attention. And definitely we will be reaching out to her.
But more than a month later, we went back to Flint and visited Adia on her front porch.
No action still.
Has the city called you to set up an appointment?
No,
You've seen no action.
none.
And as Flint residents like Adia remain in limbo, we found another issue. On our visit this past April, the main phone line the city tells residents to use to call to get the lead out was not working.
The user's mailbox is not available at this time. Thank you. Goodbye.
When we told the city, a spokesperson promised a permanent fix. But a month later, when we sat with Tanya Burns, the Flint City Council member who represents Adia McCullough's neighborhood, we watched what happened when she tried to call.
The user's mailbox is not available at this time.
This is the one line. If no other line works at City Hall, that line should be working. There's no excuse for that. There's none.
Councilmember Burns told us she's become skeptical of the mayor's ability to get the job done and worries his leadership is alienating key members of the Flint city government, including the Department of Public Works, or DPW, which oversees the water system.
There's a lot of water pipes that need to get looked at in this city. Does the city have someone in charge of the Department of Public Works?
We currently do not have a DPW director.
What happened to him?
He quit. He left March 17th.
Mayor Neely has yet to fill that position. The mayor initially offered a follow-up interview with Scripps News, but after we raised what we'd learned since our last visit, a spokesperson emailed a statement instead, writing, "The city is trying to hire a new public works director and is inquiring as to why the phone line is not working consistently." The city also committed to finishing all of its remaining work by the latest court-ordered deadline of August 1st.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Meanwhile, residents like Adia McCullough continue to use bottled water each day as her skepticism about more promises coming from the city grows.
Honestly, I don't even have words for it anymore. Someone that's comfortable with letting people live like this, they're not going to hear someone like me anyway. Their lives are okay. They're succeeding. They're safe. What about everybody else?
Now, just this evening, the city responded in federal court telling that judge that this request to hold the city and the mayor in contempt of court is wholly without merit, and they said that singling out Sheldon Neely was inappropriate. Now, I can tell you this, though, in a major twist, we went back to that mayor, Sheldon Neely, and said one more time, what's up with Adia's case? What are you doing about her? And good news, Adia tells us that just yesterday, contractors showed up finally on her front door with an emergency order to finally fix her water pipes. So for that one resident of Flint, help is now finally arriving.
Yeah, Adia and her son, thank God. Thanks, Mark, but also thinking of how many other families might be in the situation. By the way, that court filing, what is the status? Could the mayor actually be held in contempt?
It's entirely possible. You have one deadline after the next being ignored, being missed by the city. So the judge could decide to take some real action here. One of the big challenges is who's going to pay for this $500 a day fine, and everybody is saying they don't want the city and the residents to suffer for this. So ultimately, what needs to happen is they need to get the job done. Chance.
Mm-hmm. I gotta say, a guy who always gets the job done here at Scripps News.
Thank you. So here's the thing. And look, if you're just not joining, thank you. Hit that like button if you're coming in, because we're taking it back. Because I want people to know what has been done, who is saying things, what's happening with the service line replacement. Because it's not a project you can talk about every day, because it is a big project. And so what is kind of taking you through the timeline. So Hadia was, thank you to the producer of the scripts was Carrie Cochran. And y'all, they won a whole Emmy off of this. And with their help, people in my ward and other wards were able to get help, because with me comprising my list, they went along with the list and took it to the NRDC. And it took so much. People don't see all the work that is, they really don't see it. It's not that, hey, I don't just show up to council meetings. It don't happen like that. I wish it was that and I left and everything. It does not happen like that. My phone rings 7 days a week, and people will call me at any time. And this is the thing, because the need is so great. If you call me and I can help you, I'm going to help you if I can. I'm not a social worker. Technically, we are legislators. You know, you'll hear people say that's not our job. And a lot of things are not our jobs. It is not. But for me, because I worked at City Hall prior, I know how to work myself, you know, around City Hall and to get things done. And so if anything else, a failure to complete the service line replacement where he's in 2 terms going into 3 terms is the reason to not vote for anybody. I don't care who it is. It's a reason to not vote. 20% it stayed at, and it's still not done. And the city of Flint could not complete it. At that time, we didn't even have Kenneth Miller. That was Mike Brown who quit. So let's start with the DPWs. We have had Rob Benzick, then we had Clyde Edwards filled in, said he was DPW. Then it was Mike Brown, he quit. Then we had Clyde Edwards again. Then we had Kenneth Miller, and now we got the 25, 26-year-old that lives in Canada, who was a deputy, and Clyde Edwards is the DPW. I mean, come on. The one department there, this is a shame that this administration has not taken it serious with our administrative consent order, our projects, our DPW. You cannot believe this. You cannot. And if anything, it shows you, I give numbers, I give percentages, the elusiveness, like I'm smarter than you, I'm going to play you. But here's where people have to say, you have to encourage the 75% of voters who say, I'm not getting out to vote because, you know, I've looked at the people we voted before and they just didn't do what they said. You know, you call them, they don't answer the phone. They call, they don't answer. You email them, they don't answer. Well, vote somebody who's going to answer their phone and follow up with their residents or the constituents. Otherwise, this is not where you should be. You should have town halls. You should be meeting with people. How are you going to know what's wrong in the city if you're never talking to them? You can't. So let's go on to the next one. I think this is the last one for right now. Because this is why people don't trust. And they got a good also look, click, like, share, subscribe, and donate to Jay Eaton Media. I cannot do this without him, and I haven't did one in a while, and we're gonna be doing some shows up until. So please kindly donate to Cash App Jay Eaton Media. Jay Eaton Media. We got some things to cover, a lot of things to cover. You got to start voting people in from the top to the bottom. By the time it gets to us is where it will get to you. You got to put people in place. That's why I want people to show up for January the 13th to meet Dr. Abdul El Saeed. There will be food. I want you to meet him. Ask him questions, because stop voting in people who won't even talk to you, who don't understand your concerns and your needs. Stop voting it. Stop voting them in. Stop it. It makes no sense. So if you can donate to Jay Eaton Media, Cash App, $ Jay Eaton Media. Thank you. Thank you. So I believe there's one more video. No, that was the third one. My bad. So we're going to go on to the ACO. people be like, what's the ACO? And if you're just not coming on here, I'm going to go over what the ACO is. It's the Administrative Consent Order. I learned more about the Administrative Consent Order than I ever wanted to. Thank you. So the Administrative Consent Order actually is before 2000. The last one was 2024, but it's before them. I'm going to read it. The Administrative Consent Order is the agreement between the City of Flint and the Michigan Department of Environmental and Great Lakes, EGO, and energy to ensure the city's long-term compliance with Safe Drinking Water Act and Lead Copper Rule, outlining infrastructure, upgrade, staffing, hiring, improved water system management after the crisis, ultimately paving the way for the EPA to lift its federal emergency order in May 2025. The ACO replaced the earlier voluntary agreements and focused on specific deficiencies like cross-connection control and staffing, allowing Flint to guide its own path to full compliance while maintaining transparent water quality. It has not been transparent, y'all. We don't even have a DPW. He live in Canada. And here's the thing. It's not that we can't. They don't want to work for Mayor Neely. Only person he came into office with that started with him is Clyde Edwards, who is the DPW director now. He is the DPW director. So the Administrative Consent Order was passed. 5 rubber stampers voted for it September the 23rd to lift it. So in that, and I'm going to grab this paper. So I'm going to So in that ACO order, I did not send these to Jonathan, it's the projects that we need to get done. And they're in spreadsheets. And so I like a spreadsheet. And so this tells us what percentage. These spreadsheets are from our last DPW director, Kenneth Miller, who quit because of the administration. And so they talk about, it tells you what the project is, what percentage that they are, if they're funded. And so when they decided to pass the ACO, they gave everybody that poisoned Flint, all the agencies, they gave them a get out of payment card. I told them I would never pass it. You know why? They broke Flint. They should have fixed Flint. And they passed it. And what did they say then? The water crisis is over. And what did the Republicans do? They said, y'all didn't use that money. We're taking it back. Because you have 5 rubber stampers who voted to let go of the ACO, the Administrative Consent Order. And when they decided to do that, that went to fund. It took the state and the federal government off the hook. Flint don't have money for $600 million worth of projects, or 300 or 200. And so when I was speaking to Mr. Miller, because at this time, he was saying, with COVID tariffs, because of the material, COVID tariffs, and then labor, that they have probably not only tripled, but quadrupled at that time. So you could be looking anywhere from 300 to 700 million. We don't know. He said, because when this was made, it was at the, 2 years, 3 years after the water crisis. Everything has went up. We know that. Rent went up from Flint from $500 to $1,200 a month. So when they signed that on September 23rd, this was the last day that Councilman Murphy came in to vote on this. And he left after he voted on this. And Flint got stuck with a bill. We got stuck with this, and we don't have the money to pay for this. And no, why give the state a get out of jail card? Why do that? The state and the federal government. Flint didn't ask to be poisoned. And so these are the things that Mayor Neely has let slide. He had his 5 rubber stampers. So It is. So that ACO, these are the projects, and it talks about the Safe Water Drinking Act, making sure our water is safe. Well, they can pretty much do as well. You have 5 people who voted for that at that time. 5 people. So, okay, we done did that. So, state takeover lead lines. So we know because it was a contempt of court. Mayor Neely had been at 90% since he was elected in 2019. He was elected in 2019. And there should be a pic of Jonathan of State Take the Lead Lines. I believe it's an article from MLive or the Flint Journal. And so the state said, well, it's not going to get done underneath you. You don't even have a DPW. Your track record, and you're in court, is showing us it's not going to happen. And it didn't. The state took it over. The state took over our lead line, service line replacement. 5 people voted to release the administrative consent order, giving it back to the people. Now they want us to vote we got 3 projects that are actually coming up. And one is the Cedar Street, I believe. And they want us to pass these. But I'm not comfortable passing them. They're not saying they're going to be forgiven loans. And do we really trust the state of Michigan if we vote this? We're going to vote to take a revolving loan for $35,000-$40,000, and then the Republicans say, hey, y'all had 12 years to fix this and you didn't need our money because you didn't fix it. I'm not comfortable doing that. And they took back, was it $645 million? But when we don't have representation to make sure that they're speaking up for us, this is what happens. You got to have it at every single level. Show up January 13th. Speak to Dr. Abdul El Sayed. Give him the opportunity to ask him the questions. So we're going to move on past that. Remember, our DPW director lives in Canada. You can't make that up. You can't. So we're gonna go on. So we're going to go on to Councilman Leon L. Alameen. So is there a map showing the new water lines to the cultural west side and where the state park is going to be? We wouldn't be right by the residency part of the new. I'm not sure. Is there a map available? Sure. I don't know if there's a map because that goes with our engineering department. I don't know. But they have a map without a doubt. Without a doubt, they do. So for residents to see part of the new city clean water. Well, they're cleaning up. The 7th Ward has gotten Court Street, which did turn into lakefront property because I don't think we had a DPW at the time. So when they were putting the pipes in and joining them, they were using, and they didn't do the system right. This is what I'm told. They're supposed to put like a blocking system. And instead, they hit it with the backhoe, fracturing the new pipes and the new infrastructure underneath Court Street. So Court Street was blowing gaskets a long time because they did not put like the block. So the blocking in between is supposed to be like a barrier in between to make sure that when it's hitting it, it doesn't hit directly the pipes, the underground systems. And they didn't have that, but we didn't have a DPW because what also a DPW does, they make sure that the companies that are doing them, they are project managered also because they're making sure that the companies that do it right. Even though they have a project manager, a good DPW director makes sure it's done right. We didn't have one. So Court Street was lakefront property. Those things were busting like crazy. But when you micromanage a city, this is what you get. This is unfortunately what you get. So we're going to go to, so there was an article about I didn't write the article. 810 Flint wrote the article. Drew, we do have 2 engineers now. There's a language barrier, but we do have 2. They came to council one time, and the one told me to Google him. When I asked him a question, he said, Google me. Yeah, okay. Thank you, Michelle. The kids got me this about 15 years ago. So we do have engineers, and the one said to Google me. That whole meeting was just a lot. So anyways, the post went up, which was 810 Flint's post. And I did not even know she had made a post specifically with me, with my name. And she tagged me in every way she could. The Tanya Burns show. So I guess she wanted me to talk about it. Tanya Burns, Councilwoman Burns, and she has some very strong words to say. Although it's misplaced aggression, she probably should have used that for Leon. I've never even put her picture up before. Never did it. 810 Flint wrote this article. I have nothing to do with the writing of the article. And so they did go into correct her to basically, he put your information out there, and it's on every public document, which it is, and that you are his collateral damage. I have never, matter of fact, I didn't even share this article of 810 Flint on any media. I did not. So Lori, you have my attention. You do. You do. First of all, I'm not friends with, if you on the sex offender list, I'm not friends with sex offenders. I wasn't friends with Johnny Cole, and not going to be friends with you. Because if you're on a registered sex offenders list, somebody's life was probably ruined. But you can be mad at Leon for that, because he put that in front of the court papers, custody papers, other papers. It's just everywhere. And so he put your information out there. I didn't know. This one says by 810 Flint, a felon in a meth cooking pedophile, a match made in heaven. I didn't know she had charges for a meth lab. I did not know. Now, Leon did put in paperwork that she was a registered sex offender. And so for those saying, well, she's changing her life. No, she needed to check him. Don't bring, I'm not a friend to people who have to be on this. I'm just not. I never put this lady's name up, but she made this whole big post about me. You know, I have sympathy for the victims. That's where my loyalties lie. I have sympathy for the victims. So she made a whole post, and she was really, I think she felt good about herself when she wrote it. And so I'm gonna read her post. And it was made, I guess, December 4th. And so she states in her post, and she needs to put Leon, and I want to, before I read it, Leon put all her information out there. He put it on numerous documents, not every numerous. He lied. And as a matter of fact, Lori, it's public. Your address is public because he's an elected official. If she stated he don't live with her. So he put on his affidavit, which is a felony, another felony, to lie on your affidavit if you don't live where you say you live. And she said he ain't never lived there. I did send an email to Chief Green, Attorney Gurley, to Davina, to Attorney Wallace, and tell them they need to investigate this. So he put this information. Now she wants to come on here, and she had a lot to say. And so she says, so not everyone knows my background. Well, Leon put it on his custody papers. Can we put up the little yellow highlighted one, please? Because I want to leave that up there, the paper, because he put it up there. And he's been putting it on everything. There's also one, I haven't had time to go through everything, where he said he had a long-term relationship with you, Lori. He said this is his paperwork, what he putting into the court systems. So you need to talk to Leon. I know you may have a little problem or something with, with being the felon. I never put your name out there, but since we on first name basis, we gonna chat. You tagged me and everything, and so we're gonna have a conversation. So she says, so not everyone knows my background. Also, not everyone deserves to know my story. Well, you're a public registered sex offender, so yes, they do need to know your story if you're on the sex offender list. And according to what we know, you are on there, and according to what Leon. So before we do it, Leon's response is, defendant admits as true that he has always maintained a residence at, and see, when I put up, it wasn't even the address, but he didn't put it all over every place, at Mott Avenue. Defendant admits it's true that this is also the residence of a registered sex offender. However, the minor child and the sex offender have never had any contact. Defendant will stipulate that the minor child shall never be in the presence of the registered sex offender. Now, how are you going to do that with a whole house about 750, 800 square feet? That's an impossibility. He put your stuff in his papers. So take that misplaced aggression and talk to him. Y'all seem to be friends. Nakia said y'all all went to get your nails and feet done. Pedicures, manicures. You know, the one where, you know, he came to her house with the Draco. And then he said it was a man in a black shirt and gray sweatpants. And that's actually what he had on, with the two little boys where the one urinated on himself and they called 911. Yeah, Lori, not feeling sorry for you. So next time you think to come brush up on me, don't do it. You go check the person who put your business out there. So Nakia said y'all all went to get your nails and hair, nails and feet done. She said that on Mayor Weaver's show. She'll come on and say she's probably watching tonight. So he put your information out there. He put your address out there when he decided to make the decision to run for the seat, and he doesn't live in the house, according to you, Lori, where you stated he doesn't live there. You said he's never lived there, but let's go on and read this. But leave that up while I'm reading, please. It says, not everyone deserves to know my background. Also, not everyone deserves to know my story. I didn't care about your story. But they have already made their minds up about me, and that's fine. It is what it is. But let me set the record straight on this, since people want to take a title and run with it. Leon does not and never has lived here. And this is in all caps. Did I send you those? Can we put those up for me? Put her thing up, her post. Because she, you know, I want her to be heard. She, you know, contacted me. You know, she could have called me. Send this. I thought I sent it to you. Okay, if you didn't get it, I just sent it to you. And I literally, and it's been up a month, so she's had plenty of time to have it circulated. And it's on Arthur Woodson's page. Winters posted it on Flint Politics Reboot, I'm told. So it's everywhere. Okay, you should have them both. So if you can put the one up. So as I'm talking, please. It says, so not everyone deserves to know my story. Also, not everyone deserves to know my story. They already have their minds made up about me, and that's fine. It is what it is. But let me set the record straight on this, since people want to take a title and run with it. Leon does not and never has lived at this address. Leon does not and never has lived at this address. And I need you to go down to file a complaint that you got somebody lying to state where you live and that he's receiving mail there illegally. Okay, that's what I need you to do, because if we're going to be productive, Lori, that's what I need you to do. You need to go do that. And then you need to get a certified statement and write out what you stated on social media. It's been up for almost a month. And take that to the city clerk, take it to the Flint Police Department, Take it to the Genesee County prosecutor because I want your post to be effective. Leon signed an affidavit stating he lives where you live, and he's still saying that. Matter of fact, last week in court, he said he lived where you live. To Judge Hannibal, he stated on the record again, he lived where you live to Judge Hannibal. So either you lying or he lying. But he's putting you in a predicament. That man strictly is my landlord. We are no couple and definitely no partners in crime. So Tanya Burns, Miss Councilwoman, you can keep my name out of your mouth. You can mouth. You were supposed to be someone trying to build up the community. Yet here you are on your personal vendetta through the mud because of your personal vendetta against another council member. Yeah, I don't like men who beat on women that call me and I have to go to the hospital and be with them to 5:30 in the morning with their mother. Yeah, not a friend to Leon, not at all. I'm not a friend to any man that beats women. I saw the bruises. I've listened to the videotapes, or not the videotapes, the voice recordings. She's filed other police reports. And a man who abuses the PPO system. 10 of them. Yet you are here dragging a citizen through the mud because of your personal vendetta against another council member. Whatever legal issues El Alamein has going on, I have absolutely nothing to do with. I never said you did. What are you talking about? Get your facts straight, please, and thank you. Nothing to do with. I am just a tenant and a resident in your piece of shit city, POS. It is good to know that a council person would rather take a person's background and use it against them before finding out the facts. Lori, I don't know you. You made this post. I don't know your background. I did not write the article at 810 Flint. So get your facts straight. Now, I don't know if Leon maybe made her write this because he take little pot shots or throw rocks, and Liddell helps her. And Liddell, I know you watching, girl. Hit that click, like, and share because she be so worried about my podcast. It just irritates her. Liddell, hit that. You my number one fan. Says against the defining out that because of this, I have had the cops and CPS knocking at my door. No, Lori, you're a liar. You have the cops and the CPS knocking at your door because Leon is supposed to, he stated in that paperwork, the child lives there. When the mother has to pick the child up, where do you think her attorney told her to pick him up from? Her attorney has got to, that's where he was living. He put it on the paperwork. He lived at 606. But we're going to play the recording because the grandmother, Janaeus Jackson, which he put a PPO on her also, has a recording. We're going to listen to it. So Leon El Alamein has them knocking at your door, not me. He put on the paperwork. He lives there. It's on his affidavit. He lives there. He did that to you. Take your misplaced aggression. You need to be mad at him. If he didn't state he lived there, they wouldn't have been there to pick the child up. Simple as that. When parents exchange children, you go to the address. They went to the address. Leon put on the paper. Leon El Alamein put that on the paper. It's not that hard. I hope I'm breaking it down for you. There are no children in this house and never will be. Well, I'm glad because I'm glad you're doing good on your whatever path to change from being a registered sex offender. I wish you the best. I do. But I'm glad she emphatically stated there are no children there, which means that child is, and I have stated that child has never lived in that house. I have stated that before. Don't believe it because I don't think she would be put at risk. And I've stated too, she's on tether. And they also come to the house, they'll pop up. They'll pop up at the house. They have the ability to do that. And so I don't believe she would risk that and didn't want to go back. But what she should have did was made the complaint about Leon, not a Facebook complaint. He got your name out there. He got your name out there. Where's she gonna go? He said he lived there. Where's the mom and the grandma I'm gonna pick him up from? That's what he put on the paperwork and his affidavit and the court papers and the district court and the circuit court and the friend of the court. Every court it is in Genesee County, he has put that address on. Where do you think they're going to show up at? Except for his tether. He's a 6th Ward resident with his tether. The sad part is that she already knew all of this, and yet she decided to throw me. Now you're just lying. I'm not in your business like that. He put this on there. That was not my article, Lori. That you don't see me that's not my article. Although well written, I cannot take credit. I am not a plagiarism pirate. Let me repeat for you, Lori. I am not a plagiarism pirate. Not my story. I am not the author. So you're lying. You don't want your name out there? Leon is doing this to you, not me. All this, and yet you decide to throw me into this mess. No, Leon, you are his collateral. Because one thing I've noticed about Leon doesn't care who he hurts. Doesn't care as long as he's getting what he needs. That's it. Not my article, not my story. Facebook, she sent the cops to my house asking questions about Leon. I sent the cops to your house. Not one time did I call the cops and say, go to her house. Kiki had an attorney. Her attorney said to pick up the child that she had to go to the house. Just a lie. Where's she going to pick the child up from? I mean, you ride around all day hoping to telepathically know where to meet him. He put that address on the paperwork with the friend of the court. Friend of the court. So then you have on here, you had enough evidence to show what you needed to show, but yet you support throwing me under the bus over the background for what? Because if you did your homework, not my job. It's the city clerk's job. Arthur Woodson turned in 26 pages to everybody in the state of Michigan. He turned it in to everybody but the city of Flint police chief. He turned it in to the city clerk, the city attorney. He turned it in to the Michigan Board of Elections, the governor. He turned it in to the Secretary of State. He turned it into the Michigan State Police. He turned it into the Genesee County Prosecutor. He turned it into the Genesee County Sheriff. And if I missed anybody, throw it in there. He turned it into everybody but the Flint police chief. Everyone else, he turned it into and told everybody he did. He turned in 26 pages. So I literally work and come here and literally just working on me. Needless to say, just leave me the F alone. Okay, go place your anger. I don't mess with people who violate children. I'm glad you're doing better. I appreciate the fact that she's saying that there will never be any children there. So she's working to change her life. But you need to be angry at Leon. Leon put you in all, and she don't even know all the paperwork she owns. She really does not. He got you on paperwork, and I will have to find the one where he stated you have been his long-term partner. He put that on there. So you need to take that anger and place it with him. 810 Flint wrote this article, not me. If you mad at somebody, be mad that you were connected yourself with Leon L. Alameen, and he is throwing you underneath the bus to make sure he stays doing what he needs to be doing. He started out wrong running for the 1st ward. So let's start there. You're stating, Lori, he has never lived in that house. You're stating, Lori, on your Facebook post, there are no children there. There are no children will ever be there. Then you need to take yourself down to all those places that I named, and you need to file a complaint that he does not live there to cover yourself, or tell your probation or parole officer that he's like, you need to turn him in. I mean, what do you think? He doesn't care. He obviously does not care. And your piss poor attempt to project this onto me, not today. you need to let Leon know, because he started out wrong by one, saying he lived on my street. Your address is listed on everything connected to him running falsely, because you said he don't live there, in the first ward. If he don't live there, you should have turned him in because you're a voter. You can file a complaint on him too, Lori, that he doesn't live there. Matter of fact, you might be able to sue him. Check with an attorney. So put that misplaced aggression where you at. I'm glad you're not around kids, but you may want to make sure that I responded. Sorry it was a month late. God didn't put it in my purview to take a look. And she needs to be mad at him. He doesn't care. And to me, he has the tendencies of a narcissistic sociopath, in my opinion, because he doesn't care. He knew he was putting her at jeopardy. This stuff keeps coming up. I didn't even know I did not, and it wasn't even my research. I didn't have the time. 810 Flint does that was not my research. I knew nothing about a meth lab. Nothing. I don't know your whole history. But what you need to do is, because he is putting you at jeopardy, and he's being adamant that he stays there. Last week, Lori, he told him he lived at 606. So you made this post December the 4th. December the 23rd, he told Judge Hannibal again he lives at the same house with you. He's still putting you in jeopardy after your rant on December the 4th. So I don't know what to tell you, Lord, but I pray you stay on your path, but you need to, and maybe you need to address the court, address Judge Hannibal that he's not telling the truth, because he did. He told it. You can write Judge Kari Hannibal. You can write him and let him know that he does not live at the address that you live at on Mott Street, because he told him you did. He just did the 23rd. He went in there. Definitely did that. So I just want you to know that. Place that anger where it belongs. 810 Flint wrote that article. You see the number up there, 810 Flint. I'm not 810 Flint. I don't even have the skill set to do that. So we're going to move on from that. So the next one she tries to say, we're going to talk about it. We moving along. So let's play the video, the 9 minutes, 50 seconds. This is with Janez Jackson, Kiki Mama. Kiki is a domestic violence victim that Leon L. Alameen was charged with a felony, less than murder, but with strangulation and a misdemeanor. And according to Lori, he probably gonna get another felony. She said he don't live there and never has. Y'all know that's a felony. Oh, wait a minute. Before you do that, before we play the recording, can you put up the article of the Lapeer man? The Lapeer, I'm going to read this to y'all. Lapeer had someone who did the same thing. Lapeer handled their business. Reason why people don't trust the city of Flint, because they don't operate in truth and transparency. This should have been handled. Arthur Woodson turned in 26 pages. 26 pages. Verification. He did it to everybody. And I may have missed some people. Did I say the Attorney General? He did the Secretary of State, State Board of Elections, Attorney General, Governor. He turned it into Nessel, Benson, Whitmer. Yeah, that one. So what happens when you don't live where you say you live? You get a felony. You get one. So this gentleman, Mr. Mahan, and I have to go and pull that one up for myself because, you know, it don't get big enough on here. I need it on probably a big screen to read it. So I got to pull it up to read it, y'all. I just do. So y'all give me a minute. Thank you. Thank you. So the title states, Lapeer Commissioner Mick Mahan charged with lying about residency on his candidate affidavit. Lapeer Commissioner McMahon charged with lying about residency on his affidavit. Lori, Leon said he lives with you. He lied on this. This is a felony for him. Yes, he put you in jeopardy because you're on tether and he's on tether. That's why he's not there. He's down the street from me, 6th Ward, making improvements, getting people new porches. So I'm just saying. So McMahon, which is on February 14th, District 1, Lapeer County Commissioner McMahon, Columbiaville, was charged with 1 count of election law, false swearing, a felony, punishable by up to 5 years in prison for swearing in while under oath for purposes of qualifying as a candidate for elective office. Lori, you said Leon don't live there. And you probably, you need a house. File a lawsuit, sue for damages for that house. And girl, then you'll own you a house. Turn your loss into a great big win. He put you in jeopardy. Nessel appointed Genesee County Prosecutor David Layton as special prosecutor. Now, Nessel, why didn't you appoint somebody else to Flint? You did for Lapeer, but you didn't do it for Flint. This is where people don't trust the folks, because she got Arthur Woodson, gave it to everybody. The city clerk sent it to everybody too. It says, upon review of the investigation, we ain't got no investigation. That's why I voted to have myself investigated, because they swear I don't live where I live. Even Judy Asphalt Feet kept claiming I didn't live where I say I live. Judy, I live where I say I live. You and Liddell are a bunch of liars. Y'all need to stop, especially when Liddell didn't passed out on my couch before. Like, girl, wake up. So it says, upon review of the investigation reports of the Michigan State Police and their request, a warrant, we have found sufficient probable cause evidence alleging that McMahon did not reside at the address listed on his candidate affidavit when he ran for Lapeer County Commissioner. So, Lori, you wrote a whole dissertation. You need to save yourself. You need to write it, have it signed, take it to the prosecutor, take it to all the places Arthur Woodson. Inbox him. Hell, Arthur Woodson will pick you up and take you around. I promise you that. He'll pick you up, take you around. He will. So when you lie on the affidavit, you said, Lori, he ain't never lived there. Okay. Then put your money where your affidavit false filing self is. Put that money where it's going to help. Go on and let the clerk know, the city attorney, the county prosecutor, the Genesee County Sheriff, the Genesee County Clerk, the state of Michigan Elections Department, the Dana Nessel, the Secretary of State. Let them know. Because Facebook is just not going to do it. It's not. But I'm quite sure Arthur Woodson has made sure everyone has got your post as Arthur Woodson and Winters shared it out. Gladly, they shared it out. Gleefully, they shared it out. Gleefully. So if you want to correct it, and I get you've done your time, I get that. And I respect that. I respect that she did her time. But he is putting you in danger. She's saying no children live here and he doesn't live here. I respect that. But you got to protect yourself for what he's doing to you. You and all them court papers I just showed you. He lied on his affidavit. It's a felony. It tells you who to report it to. You can report it to the Michigan State Police. What's going to take you around every place you need to go? Oh, you can't make this stuff up. So continue on your journey to changing your life. I wish you the best. I like that you sing, that there are no children, there will be no children, and that you work. I appreciate that. But you need to talk with Leon. That's a felony. And girl, look, get you some little coins. Get that house. Get your name on that house. Because there should be damages. He caused you damage. Your name all over court documents. All over in them. And the article, Lori, was not mine. I don't write for 810 Flint. Sorry. Although they did a good and thorough job because they said some things that I did not know. Thank you to VIP for the super sticker. Burns got a big dent in her sofa. You know what, Bert? Oh, I ain't gonna play with you. Okay, listen, y'all donate to Cash App because we're gonna go on, but in between time, we need to pay some bills. Look, I need to pay the producer because we're gonna have a week of just making sure we go through some stuff because I got some stuff. I took some self-care time for me, but we got a lot of stuff we gonna cover. So if you can please kindly donate to $J Eaton Media on Cash App, it would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. So, Leon, people have been saying, "Oh, Tanya, Leon's very dangerous. You know, he's dangerous." I have gotten that. But when he first came, I asked him questions about that Draco. Nobody else wanted to mention it. I had a question, and come to find out, the Draco, which is with I think Michigan State Police, is unregistered. He told Channel 12 it is unregistered. So it will be checked for ballistics, but it is unregistered. Okay. The one that he used when he went and drilled out the lot with the two little kids here, where the one urinated on himself and scared the people. Then the lady moved out the very next day. He filed a PPO on her, and in the house, caught on fire too. I mean, it's kind of like a playbook, what he do. Because that house caught on fire too. I'm just saying. Okay. So, but the other one caught on 3. Matter of fact, can we put up the one? If you can donate to J Eaton Media, $, Cash App, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Cash App. And we can put up the article with the house that's burnt up, and we need to play that. So that tether be going off. He wanted that tether off on December 23rd, and Judge Hannibal told him no, because he may have a problem with residency with the tether where he's tethered to. And so one of the things that I think Leon should do is step down. I really and truly believe that. And if he had a step down, because he knows what he's doing, he's playing a game that the community is speaking. The community is speaking. And I think he should step down. There was the resolution that Councilwoman Jerry Winfrey Carter put there for him to step down. Thank you, VIP. Thank you. Appreciate you, VIP Caskets. But he has not stepped down. I think that he needs to preserve, in my opinion, what he's doing with his MAID Institute. And if somebody with a post I made asked me about having empathy for when I made the post, but I want, if you can get the one I'm gonna slide over, ready about the house. I should have empathy for Leon. And that's a mixed bowl. I'm gonna tell you why. Because for 10 years, I know she's told me about Kiki, about domestic violence. And what she not just told me, I listened to recordings. She would record because when he was talking, and one of the hardest ones I listened to, and we'll listen to them at some point. Everybody else got them, where her son says, Mommy, why is Daddy doing that? Why is Daddy doing that to you? And so you cannot pretend like that it will not affect the children. You cannot. And kids remember things. You don't forget it. You just don't. You remember the age. You remember how old you are. You will remember it. You will. And so Flint City Councilman, we're going to go into this because, you know, the other house on, actually, that's the house that I think Lori is in. When the kid was in that house, it was set on fire. Thank you, VIP Caskets, for the super sticker. Thank y'all, VIP Caskets. So it says Flint City Councilman, Mount Morris home was caught on fire 3 times in 2 weeks. Now, was it a coincidence they had the dogs out there? I'm like, I don't think so. That house is chopped, broiled like a piece of bologna in the skillet, cut down the middle, flipped on the side. The garage is completely gone. Completely. It burned down to the absolutely nothing left. Gone, gone, gone. So 3 times the house caught on fire. Someone on the next street over stated that the they saw two black men and a white man walk around the corner, parked on Grace Lawn, walked over, and people have it on camera. And then when they came back, they could see the smoke in the air, or going up in the air in the sky. The house had been set on fire. So how many times you got to burn a house down? I mean, it's arson. The dogs was out there for arson. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going on with this, because I think what Kiki was going, she was, going through things. I think he had 5 policies on this house. It's 5 policies. So, I mean, and one of them stated that the house, when she found the 13 policies, where they gave the one that was for her, that there was 2 assurance policies for her, and where he forged her name and then spelled her name wrong. Yes, she had found 5 policies. He was big on insurance. Yeah. So, but I mean, people say he's dangerous, and Kiki has stated, I believe he will kill me. He will kill me. He thought I would come back this time. He thought he could make me do what he wanted me to do. She said, I was just tired. I was tired. I didn't want to be hit anymore. I didn't want to be choked anymore. I didn't want to live like that. And she has stated, I think he will kill me. Thank you, VIP room. We appreciate it. So keep Kiki in prayers as she is working through her life, changing things. And here's some of the things. This is the most idiotic thing. People said, literally said, well, she just wants him back. It's not true. No, that her life has been turned upside down. What he thought was she would never make it this far. And, she just mad because she's not with him. Who wants to take the place of a domestic violence victim because you're going to be the next domestic violence victim? That's the way it goes. Who wants to do that? Y'all click like, share, and subscribe. Click like, share, and subscribe. Okay, let's go on. So, so my supposed, what do you call it? We can start putting up the houses. Vendetta. No, Leon been stalking me since 2021. And I'm very clear about it. And I made reports to the Flint Police Department. I've sent letters to where they needed to go and talk to people. 2021, he was looking me up in my house. For what? For what? So I don't know, Leon, were you doing work for Mayor Sheldon Neely? Did he have you doing his dirty work for you? For him? That's my question. Because I can't think of anybody else who would do it unless it was a person that I ran against. Who made you put my stuff up on social media? Because so let's put the pictures up and we'll go through them real quick. So this one is Leon, okay? Leon, this is what he put. This is him calling Kiki. This Tanya Byrne mama house. This is him riding by a few times. This is Tanya Byrne's mama. Now, people say he a dangerous man and he deal with these people coming out of prison. But you riding by my mama house? Liddell, be angry about that. It's because we know you watching. Taking pictures. Okay. Because Liddell sent him the list to go to. Liddell Lyon Lewis sent him the list that she felt, I don't know what she was going to catch me up or something. Ain't nothing to catch up. So here, and you see, this is my house. He was stalking me 2021. This is August. Actually, it goes way back to like April of 2021. Well, he was stalking me then. He was. This is my house. He going through all my stuff. I don't know who had him put the stuff up. He associated. I don't know who would have him do it. So Leon, so I have no vendetta, but I'm not going to play with my life. I want everybody to go home every day just like I want to go home. Okay. So let's go on to the next one. So here it is. He says, I will arrive in Flushing at 5:40 a.m. So he's out there taking pictures of where my son and his father live. Liddell, you should be angry times 3 or 4 at this point because you played the perfect 6-foot victim. So he's out in front of the house at 5 o'clock in the morning, which is probably not a safe thing because Ken is retired from the police department. So is the man across the street retired from the police department. Arnold. So is the Montrose police chief that lives on the corner that I went to school with. Me and Jamie, that's my dog. Then we have a sheriff that lives down in the cul-de-sac. You can ride by all day. That is not where I live. And they have put a tracking device on my vehicle to know where I live. So Leon out there taking pictures. Who are you sending these pictures to, Leon El Alamein? Who are you sending them to? My mother's house, my son's house where his father lives. So he's not a victim. He's not. Leon, I feel, in my opinion, is a narcissistic sociopath. He doesn't think what he does has consequences. For example, if he burned that house down or had somebody, he burnt it down 3 times. There's no consequences. But why are the judges in the system letting him get away with it? Why is the city clerk, the city attorney's office allowing him to get away with it? He's dangerous. He's dangerous. Now, he can ride by there all day if he wants to, but they sharpshooters. I'm going to advise that you don't carry your ass over there no more. I'm going to advise it. And if you go by my mother's, you're going to have a whole nother problem. A whole other problem. So, Lori, your friend is a problem. I'm letting you know why he's bringing all of that to your house. He's bringing all this danger to your house because he's a dangerous man, in my opinion. So, okay. So, I want to do First Ward should not be allowing him to be in that seat. Lori, who lives in that house, has stated he isn't there. The person who told the First Ward people that he does live there should be ashamed of themselves because it's a selfish act. You wrong. You know, look, throw yourself upon the altar, but quit doing the people wrong for your selfish reasons. When you allow someone who she states he never lived there, not my words, her words, Arthur Woodson has turned in 26 pages. Get his ass out that seat. Flint has consistently had a problem that people don't want to speak up. Then when I speak up, they get mad. When I speak up, you know, they so used to being oppressed. Stop being your own oppressor. Speak up. First Ward should have down here, tell them, get your lying ass out that seat. You don't live here. You lie, just like McHun. He should be charged. Lori stated he's never lived there. There have never been any kids there. And so when she's telling you and she's a resident, you have to believe her. But get that video. Let's listen to the video. We're going to listen to the police. We're going to listen. When you got to just pop it up. It's the 9.
Yes, please, I want to. Please.
So what's up? She won't let me in the house. I'm just saying like that. I can't force entry into the house.
She's a sex offender, and my grandson.
Yeah, his dad.
states that he lives there. Yes, that he's there.
You sure his address didn't get changed or something?
We got it right here. He just did it yesterday with the courts. With the courts.
I can try to see if the kid is. What's his name? Leon.
Leon, yes.
Okay, I'll go check and see.
Can't put your recorder on because I can't see. Now you should be calling CPS. Look. He probably told her not to. Yeah, somebody in there because when we came by here earlier, they were standing because the TV right there, they was turning. Looked like they was turning the TV.
I know it was a car here yesterday, so I don't know if they went and left or something. But at the same time, I can't force them to open the door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um.
Can we get your you got your badge number?
I don't have to give it to you, but I can give you my name.
Write his name down.
I see right there, Taylor.
Okay.
It's Officer Taylor.
Officer Taylor. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. It's unfortunate. I mean, I said yesterday she didn't really. Is it a white lady?
Yes.
She's on tether.
I don't know. I don't think she's on tether. I don't know if she's on tether. It looked like
some
something.
lady that came out with a tether on her leg. Got a bunch of tattoos.
Oh yeah. So that's yeah. So registered sex offenders have to have that, right?
What?
Tethers.
211 is there.
She's a child She's a this lady right here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I guess when you're a child predator, you're supposed to have those on your wrist. I mean ankle.
Well, maybe I'll come by here later if that truck is here. I'll try to see if
Okay.
again. Okay.
Wait 1 minute. See, cause he go here. He stay here. He just told the courts that Leon Alamine 606.
All right.
So we just trying to make sure my grandson ain't in there with that sex predator.
Which I understand, but I'm not getting an answer at the door, and I can't force myself into
Okay.
that.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
My supervisor here, if you'd like to talk to him too.
Yes, please. Yes, I want to. How you doing? Good.
Oh, good. So, I'm sorry, unfortunately, we can't kick the the door in.
I understand.
I wish we could, right? Wish we could, because for the kids' safety and whatnot. But everybody's got rights, so you know, we give it our effort. They're knocking at the door and whatnot. Fortunately, that's all we can do.
Okay.
At this moment. I'm sorry. I mean, we wish we could do more. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But we'll keep that crew to check out on the house tonight.
Yeah, because just like I said, she's a sex offender. There's no way in the world my grandson should be in there with her.
I agree with you.
I just gotta contact the service and get them out.
You know, everybody, they want to give second chances to.
You know, second chance, nothing.
Yeah, I get you.
No,
I'm with you.
I don't play that.
The system wants to give everybody second chances and this, that, and the other. But with that, I don't agree with it. But unfortunately, we're bound by the rules. You know.
Okay. So you did go in there yesterday and wasn't nobody there.
Well, she wouldn't let me go in yesterday. Nobody would, but she said it was just her and her dog here. And unfortunate part, I can't force myself.
I understand that.
Now, have you guys contacted like CPS? Are you guys dealing with CPS?
No, that's what I'm gonna have to do next. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm about to do that.
Yeah.
So now, if CPS come, then y'all have to go in, or how do that?
CPS deals with all that end. They're kind of in charge at that point.
Okay.
And they give us a little bit more authority, I guess.
Okay.
When it comes to that stuff.
Okay.
Comes to children, because like we as police, unless it is like a horrid situation that like they're living in, no running water, no food, houses infested with bugs and mice, you know, health issues, stuff like that. That's only when police can remove children. If it's like an immediate threat. But CPS, they can remove children and say, nope, this isn't criteria, blah, blah, blah. Kids are coming with us. We're operating under the state. We are placing them with you because you're the grandmother, right?
Yes, just the mother.
Okay. So the mother and the grandmother, you know, we're doing that type thing.
My biggest thing is I don't know her. I don't know what she's capable of.
Sure.
And
No, we understand it.
Okay, so call CPS.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I would recommend tomorrow. They usually get in 8, 9 o'clock in the morning.
No.
Okay.
Okay. Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
I'm sorry we couldn't do more tonight.
Thank you.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Have a good night.
You too.
Okay, you can cut it.
You got them all on record.
Okay, so here's a mom and a grandmother doing what they should be doing. What they feel is protecting a child that's living in a home with a registered sex offender. What does she think the mother and grandmother are supposed to do? Leon put that address down. They gave and showed the paperwork to the police officers. What do you think they're supposed to do? They're supposed to do that. Stop normalizing people with bad behavior. I'm not going to do it. Sitting in court, John Cole Peters made the statement where the 15-year-old was in there, the sentencing day where he came back. And the mother was in there with her friend, and Tanya Jones was there, and I think Bev was there. But John Cole, it's real name Johnny Peters, he had infected they went to prison for sleep and not telling over 40 partners he had HIV. He gave HIV to a 15-year-old, slept, I think, 3, groomed 3 young boys. Only one of them contracted HIV at 15. He was in court. And I remember looking at that kid because he had a Nickelodeon shirt on. It was yellow. And they were sitting up. It was up to bursting. He had a kids program. And I remember him saying to the kid, like, come on, don't you want to do this? Come, don't be that way. And I was so irritated because I said, you know what? That spirit of discernment said, he touched that kid. Because I watched it immediately. Because the young man was kind of like, pulling away. He's like, don't do that. Come on. So this is the one he gave the $500 to, or $600, bought the game system. The kid contracted HIV. This kid doesn't know what his sexuality is. He took advantage because the mom is poor. He gave him a big item and took advantage. So what I give a damn about a criminal sexual deviant predator is nothing. Nothing. And I mean that. And then to sit there in that court and listen to this bastard say, go ahead and sentence me. I'm dying anyway. And crossed his arms. Go ahead and sentence me. I'm dying anyway. Judge Hannibal, Kari Hannibal, I will give that to him. I will be with you when you write. I appreciate Judge Hannibal because he was giving a lower sentence. He changed the date to bring him back, gave him, I think, 20 to 40 years. That young 15-year-old man's life is changed forever, ever and ever and ever. And people want sympathy for criminal sexual deviant predators. I don't give a damn about them. May you rot in hell with gasoline drawers on. Because that man has changed that child. Three young men. And so everybody wants to feel sorry for Lori because she's a woman. Follow your program, but you still a registered sex offender. You still at some point hurt a child. And then you're going to come on here and on Facebook and I guess tap me. You better move that shit some other place because I'm not having it. When it comes to children, seniors, and veterans, deal breakers for me. Children, seniors, and veterans. Veterans serve our country when we know right now our president didn't. Seniors deserve to be honored, and children should deserve to be protected. Children deserve to be protected. So don't come on here asking me to sympathize with one. I'm not doing it. If you're changing your life, that's fine. Don't check me. I'm not the one. Don't do it when it comes to a sexual predator. And when I watch that bastard lean back in that seat, give whatever you give me. I'm dying anyways. When you done gave this young man a death sentence with your perverted ways, he gave him a death sentence. That young man hadn't figured out what he wanted with his sexuality. And here it is, you had him take his innocence and then give him a disease that's not curable. He primed him, he groomed him. And I sat in court and watched that. I remember the call came in about the dad who, when he found out, and the dad was going to kill him. And there were many parents who said, if that was my child, that they would have. Children should always be protected. That mother and grandmother were protecting the child, the son, and the grandson. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. The problem is everybody else needs to stand up. Quit being okay with the lowest status quo there is. Quit being complicit with things we know wrong. Well, they just breaking the law just a little bit. Quit being complicit when they're hurting someone. Well, it's just a little bit. Quit being complicit with stuff that you know. You're not supposed, don't hit women. I don't like women beaters. I got a problem with you for that. I don't have no vendetta. I just don't give a damn about you. When you are not a man if you have to beat up on women. You're not. You're not. When you mess with children, all the gutter words combined together. I do not protect criminal sexual deviant predators. I don't even have the ability to sympathize with them. I don't. I do not, because I've taught school with these kids and I've seen the damage. And a lot of times they don't get the therapy that they need. And especially if they're poor. How many poor people go to therapy? You ruin this child's life. This bastard say he gonna die. This child is 15 at the time that he contracts HIV. He's gonna die. He's got a death sentence and a jail sentence, and he's giving this child one with an incurable disease. I've seen those children and the problems that they have. I've seen them. I've been in the classroom with them. You don't get sympathy from me. You just don't. Tell that to like the 15-year-old who has HIV. When we got out that courtroom, me and him just hugged and he cried. Because somehow he's got to find a way to live a normal life. He hasn't even begun, he's not even 18, not even 21. And he has to figure out that he has some grown criminal sexual deviant predator groom him, con him, and he has HIV now. So don't come telling me to feel sorry for him. If you are, I'm telling you, I'm going straight down the middle line. I'm not doing the straight down the middle. So you heard it for yourself. 2 days, the police officers went over there. The paperwork has got that address that Lori lives at when Lori says he doesn't. He put that on the paperwork. That's the same paperwork that would be on the CPS. The police stated that there was no one living there but the dog and her. The dog and her. Leon put that address on the new paperwork. He's been putting it on the paperwork. So where's the mom supposed to go to find her child? She has to take the paperwork that the courts gave her that he stated he lives on mine. He brought them to your house. I wasn't in that vehicle. She had an attorney. If you're going to pick up your child, where do you pick him up? Be mad at Leon. So let's go. Can we put up? We're gonna move on. Because I look, I'm not gonna keep y'all on here all night. So we're gonna go on to, can you put the pick up? I'm not gonna play the video of the view. I made a post. I was up doing some reading because it's usually quiet and no one's usually calling me generally, except for my mother and my father. We'll call it 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. And I was doing some reading and I'm like, well, I watched the video. I didn't share the video. People shared. If you shared it, that's your thing. I'm not condoning or condemning that. I chose not to. So when I made the post, because I deal with and have dealt with a lot of the retired police and some of the current police, because I feel that they deserve better working conditions and other things. So the young man, I had actually spoken to him a couple times, and he's a nice young man. When you start a job and he's in his early 20s, he's not over 25, y'all. I think he's 23. Flint will swallow you up. And so somehow people, and I really was surprised, some people had the nerves to say on my post that those were excuses. You got a whole second chance. Didn't you commit murder? Didn't you take advantage of the Clean Slate Act? I believe in second chances for the right people. I've not always gotten along with the cops when I see them doing something dirty and wrong to people. I was up at Hasselbrink when they was trying to arrest the director, Beverly Lewis. I was up there for moving flower pots and their materials. I was up there twice a second time where they was trying to lock them out. The videos, we got them. We're going to go through those videos. Actually, I think 810 Flint put those together, which I don't know how he do it because he don't call me and say what to do. He went through 2025. I was up to Hasselbrink twice when the police were called on, and the city attorney and some secretary. Because if you are over that area and each time they have a need, you don't show up, what are you voting for that person for? Why? Leon told the lie that Beverly was going to have that job. He was going, or that building. He was going to make sure. He lied. He lied because that's what he does. He lies. Then he voted so that they would move. Why? Because he's part of the system. He's taking care of himself. Himself. So up to Hasselbrink, then another time, I was on the line. Now, Jed do some wild stuff. I'm not going, and he does. But what I don't like is when our police take advantage. And we saw then it was a very different issue. Not all police are bad. We have some great ones. But we saw then that the officer really didn't know what he was doing. And then he answered Dennis, but wouldn't speak to me, wouldn't answer me. I'm like, oh, and I said, you answer the white man, but you won't respond to me. So I'm very cognizant of what they do. But I'm gonna say overall, and I want people, even with the pepper spray, I talked to all them officers, not once, but a few times. I had one who was, we were talking, and he got emotional because I think sometimes when I believe in proper training. Y'all heard me ask during budget hearings or when the chief is up there, the fire chief and the police chief, how is morale? Chief Green tells the truth. He'll say, it needs to be fixed, or we got some problems. Chief Wiggins, the fire chief, is great. We give him a paycheck. You don't give them a paycheck, sir. They go to work to earn that check. You're not giving them anything. But then he went on to say that day that the city council is the reason why they burned up Flint, and then the homeless people. And that's when Councilman Pfeiffer stated, that's the most asinine statement I've ever heard from you. I used to respect you before you said that asinine statement. So when this, and I'm going to get to it so I can read it out. And please keep that up on the screen. So I watched the video. I saw the young man come out the vehicle, the back seat. Later found out he did not have keys to the car. It was not his car. It was cold though. And so they said, I don't know how long he was in the back seat. I do not know. If there will be an internal investigation. And so my question was, I just made a post. I didn't know it took me 5 minutes, but in my head, because I see it every day. And so what I wanted to, I'm not condoning or condemning. And I let people just really say what they wanted to say. And some people who, people said, hey, let's pray for him. And some said he should be charged the same way as everybody else. I don't agree with that. Because sometimes we get we get okay, we'll give you this one. But I wanted just to say how I felt, which I have a right to do on my page. So I didn't realize how far it would go. I did not. I was really surprised that when I went to sleep and then when I woke up, it had literally, it blew up. And so let me find the post. So, and all I did was ask him for, I asked for grace. Lord, that would have asked, they act like I was asking for bail or bond. So the Post says the viral clip of the Flint police officer in the back of a vehicle for what appeared to be in an altered state was a difficult watch for me. What we didn't see was that he took an oath to serve the city of Flint at a young age to protect and serve. He chose a career that people only call when it's a problem that they can't solve on their own or there's an immediate threat of danger and violence. What what he may not have been prepared for was that some of his colleagues weren't as strong as him and suffered in silence, choosing their own coping skills that would end their pain. What everyone won't see is that during 2024, 10 children, 10 were shot and some were fatal. What you won't hear in the news was that what you won't hear in the news was that Flint had 22 people shot and some fatal August 1st through 3rd, 2025. What we don't know is the number of homicides he's been dispatched to that he knew the victims. What we do know is that every Flint police officer will be called to a likely overdose with an unresponsive person every day they come to work, as Flint struggles with the opioid and drug crisis. What you won't hear is that Flint police officers are the most underpaid in the county and the most overworked. What you won't hear is that Flint officers are dispatched 20 to 29 calls, actually some days more calls per shift as compared to neighboring municipalities where there are 3 to 6 per shift. Flint is not for the faint of heart, and we lose officers because of low pay and burnout at an alarming rate. We hear gunshots more than we hear children playing outside. I'm not condoning or condemning his action, but as God gives us grace, we should give it to others. Now, there are some officers who have had questionable behavior, and I did not defend them or their actions. This young man is worthy of giving grace and support. I'm sure in his short time he's been on the police department that he had no clue as to what he would be exposed to. We have had police and firefighters commit suicide. And I'm not talking 1, 2, 3. I want to say, was it 5 or 6? I think since 2020. Which is why I always inquire to the police chief and fire chief, how is the morale? Flint has the reputation of wearing a person down. That's why it's important that we check on each other, especially during the holidays. And then I gave some statistics because the highest rate of suicide is the rising rate at, I believe, 25.9% is Black males. Black males. I'm a mom of 2 young Black males. Society does not treat them fair. And so I said, let's pray for this young officer and others on the police department and fire department as they're working under strenuous conditions and circumstances. So I went to bed. I woke up. Can you put up the stats on that one? I just wanted people to see how this young man, just through my eyes, how I see him. This was through my eyes, how I see him. Doesn't have to be your opinion, but through my eyes. So this is the analytics. So when you hear Lyon Liddell, she states, I get paid. I don't get paid on Facebook for, she lied, because that's what she does. Like, she made the Lion post up and sent it to Pastor Harris, made a whole fraudulent post and said I posted it and then lied. I don't get paid for these because I talk about topics that are sensitive. I don't get paid for any of it because my social media is very, it's political, and I talk about issues and things that we need to talk about. So on it is I think it's higher than that now. So on this one, it showed that it's got 169,782 views. That's a lot. And I think it's got like 900 likes or clicks or hearts. and then 300 and something shares and 300 and something comments. So this topic hit home. And so when we know that it hits home, this is something we need to continue to talk about. He deserved grace. Some didn't agree, and they weren't really disrespectful. But I want us to be factual when we talk about giving grace. When we talk about what they see every day, this was through my eyes. I talked to the officers. I didn't agree, and I told the officers, the ones who were, I said, y'all using pepper spray like it's string spray, and I talk with them. And I think we have to have the conversations. And I make sure that I keep it working. They ain't been happy with me, all of them. But what I'm going to do is we have conversations. And what I feel is that sometimes with this young man, he was not driving from the back seat. He didn't have the keys to the vehicle. So he's in a uniform. Yes, he's in a uniform. Do they get rolled up for uniforms? Yes, because I know for a fact that the police, Black police officers' picnics, it's always someone telling Ken, my son's father, you wrote me up, MFer. Always. And he says back, you're stupid. They probably should have not rolled up your sleeves or your pants leg, or they were really particular about your uniforms then. So he did have his uniform on. So we can't charge him for driving because he's in the back seat. He didn't have the keys. He can't get a DUI because he wasn't driving. He wasn't pulled over by the police. He cannot get a OUI, operating under influence, because he was in the back seat sleeping. I don't know whose car. Was he humiliated? Absolutely. Will he learn from this? I hope so. I hope so. But you cannot drive a car from the back seat. So the uniform part. And I don't want his story to be compared with anybody else's story, because it's not. And I want that to be clear. It's not. His story is his story. It's not anybody else's. Should he be wrote up for the uniform? According to, I believe they're whatever, the police, whatever, he probably will. But it goes to internal affairs, where they do an investigation. But what you don't know is that he has been a witness to some of his brothers in blue who have committed suicide. So when people come hard on my page, don't do it. Because sometimes I will look on people's page, I literally will be like, I don't need to comment on this. And I have to do that out of respect, because how it's going to come out. And don't come loud and wrong. But this young man is dealing with some issues. I mean, the death that you see, the gunshots, how many, people he done seen shot, I mean, come on. And Hurley is very good at the trauma department for, guess what? Sewing up gunshots, sewing them up, getting them back up, saving lives. And so they become very good. Why? Because they've had so many gunshot victims. Hate to say practice on, but that's what it is. They're good at it. And so when we're talking about some of his friends have committed suicide, don't come on my page with that. I'm not in the mental capacity myself to deal with anybody's BS. I'm not going to do it. Let his story be his story. It'll go to internal affairs. And whatever internal affairs and the chief does, that's Police Chief Green, that's up to them. That's letting the process play out. But asking for prayer and giving him grace is just an act of human decency. It is an act of human decency. Can you imagine at 23 and you start the academy and some of your friends are not in there anymore. Same thing in the fire department. Some of them have committed suicide. Some of them can't find the will to live. And you close with them. You know, y'all cheering each other on. You can do this, man. You got it. You got this. You my brother. You my brother. Because when they out there, gunshots are played every day. Our soundscape in Flint is not of a creek with water winding down around. It's not that of bullfrogs and crickets. It is gunshots. We have an urban soundscape of gunshots. Who wants to keep showing up? They don't come when they call the police. You want them. We don't have enough of them as it is because they're overworked and underpaid. Overworked and underpaid. And then when we are so quick to say, well, he had his uniform on. Okay. And he should probably be written up for that. I'm not condemning him, not condoning it. My son's father wrote up a lot of people. They still mad 20 years later that he wrote them up. Still mad. But that's the way that it is. And you move on. Doesn't mean that they won't be there for each other, because they are. They are. Matter of fact, he wrote up Crosland. And you know how that went. Crosland would drink a pot or two of coffee, 2 or 3 a week. He wrote him up because Crosland was going to play his numbers. He wrote him up. But Crosland was, to the end, good friends with Ken. And I remember Crosland called my house. He'd be so rude. He would just be rude until we were coming back from Aruba. And I'm like, I'm going to get him. And I got him. He was like, I was waiting on you to cuss me out. I was waiting on it. I said, I should have did that 2 years ago. But they depend on each other, because when they out there, that's all they got. When they show up on them calls and police are getting attacked, they're getting jumped on, noses broken. That's happening. So don't come on my page when I'm telling y'all, I got my own issues that I'm dealing with family. I don't have the mental capacity to deal with unnecessary stuff. I'm not. I posted before Christmas that I'm giving people back love. I am being intentional with telling people that I love them. I made a post that if you're reading this, I love you too. I'm being intentional. And I'm doing it on purpose. I have a best friend who lost her brother Christmas Eve. I have a best friend whose grandchild that's 4 lung collapse, 3 surgeries in 2 weeks, went to Children's Hospital, and she get there and learn her brother passed away. She called me 2 days ago and said her aunt passed away. I had a person look, Sadie Hawkins dance, guys dating in high school. He passed away on my birthday. I mean, I have a cousin in Maryland, died 4 days ago. Ja. So when you come on my page, you can get it. I'm not doing the crazy. Give this young man grace. And if you don't, sometimes just look, don't comment. You don't like what I post, don't mean you have to come on my page. Because I said what I said may not be nice. And that is the truth. Be intentional with kindness. Be intentional with telling people that you love. I never, ever get off the phone with my kids without saying, even when they rush me, I love you. If the love you don't come all the way through, I call them back. Mom, okay. Yep, I love you. I love you to every single call, because I want them to always know that I love them. And maybe I'm a little, my kids voicemails, I don't erase in my phone because I want to be able to hear their voices sometime. And so be intentional with kindness. Be intentional with telling the people that you love. This season, 2025, has been so much death, depression and oppression. And we got to make some changes. So when people say, well, you're not doing the show, I didn't have it in me. When me and JWC, before we go to a meeting, we be like, girl, be ready for this PTSD, because we know that they snapping off. And it's going to be some lies told. And Liddell abuses her position and her power. Now they're struggling for power. But we're going to talk about that on another one, because I didn't get to talk about that. We didn't. So we got another show that we're going to have planned. But be intentional. And smile. Smile is free. It's free. Be intentional. And so to each and everybody that is out there, if you are going through something, if you have a family member that is sick, because I have been in some prayer, I'm praying for you. Tomorrow is not promised. It's not. So, y'all, this is a record. I'm off early. So listen, y'all can please donate to Cash App J. Eaton Media. I would greatly appreciate it, because I cannot do that on Cash App J. Eaton Media. Leave that up. So I'm gonna read some of the comments. I like people. I like when people get theirs. Liddell is losing her appeal. Liddell, don't know. Not a lot of people like her, but we're gonna talk about that, because y'all know who just sitting back watching. That would be me. That would be me. That would be me. Because, and people are like, oh, I think they're just playing. Both of them like position and power. So that last, give you a little bit. They were supposed to vote for Candace, but Liddell did not. She voted for herself again. So she lied to them again. All them, I'm like, I said, I'm not standing here for all of this. I said, JW, she said, I ain't staying either. So she put the motion on the floor. Nobody gonna stay till Liddell figure out to grow up. Look, y'all break the rules anyways. Open Meetings Act, making deals behind the doors, which you're not supposed to. Just like in that meeting, we want to take the 2 resolutions and send them to postpone them indefinitely. You can't do that. Well, why not? Because y'all been doing it wrong. Where does that stay? In the charter, that each resolution is supposed to only have one subject matter. Let's ask the city attorney. Read the charter. It tells you one subject matter. Well, we've been doing that way. Yes, but you've been doing it wrong. Y'all been doing a lot of stuff wrong. Stop doing it wrong. But because they had the 5 votes, they were able to operate in their wrongness. They were able to operate in their wrongness and their positions of power with their faux leadership positions. And so when they do that, that's what we end up with. And so they was, well, let us basically operate wrong some more. No, because we've been telling y'all you're operating wrong. You've been operating wrong. Just making up stuff. According to Chief Green's public safety plan, there is no Chief Green public safety plan. How you go? And look, arrested people with that faux plan. There was no public safety plan by Chief Green. Not at all. It didn't come through council. You can't make that up. So I'm just sitting back watching. Maybe they got it figured out. Maybe they got their 5 votes. But it's a dangerous thing that in democracy, you have 5 votes, whether it's right or wrong. Whether it's right or wrong, you have 5 votes. It should not. Each ward is independent. Each person is independent. They should independently be thinking and voting for what's the best of the city. Them voting to do away with that administrative consent order was wrong as hell. It was wrong. The city does not have the millions for that. And we don't even have a DPW that we are supposed to and required to. Clyde is not qualified. And according to who I tell y'all, because you know I got my note. Oswald, because you know your girl be ready. He said she's not qualified. So, so are you going to follow up with Davina, the county DA, regarding line lease? Look, I can't pull it up because this phone dead, y'all. I sent the email already. Regarding and first ward residents. Lori, I need you to file a complaint. You in the first ward. I mean, you making a change. You're getting your life together. I appreciate that, Lori. Here's your chance. So I just hope, you know, I'm doing my part. I want everybody else, but Lori, don't make Facebook complaints. Girl, put them in writing to the clerk because he still got you down for everything. So guess what happens? Child Protective Services can come back to your house again because he said in court December 23rd under oath to Judge Hannibal as he raised his right hand. Now, Lori, if he don't live there, he lied under oath. I'm just telling you. And he lied under oath. So listen, we're going to get out of here. So if you can please kindly donate to Cash App, J. Eaton Media. I appreciate it. And I want to say thank you to Sheena Becton and tune in tomorrow 9 to 11 for the SNL show on Flint's Urban News Network. You have got, actually, I was longer than that. They go a little longer. You know, so they are on Monday through Friday, 9 to 11. Tune in to them. They are on the Flint Urban News Network. Sheena, drop it in the chat. I'm surprised you hadn't already did it. And so you can tune in to them. And so I want to say thank you to Sheena Becton. I want to say thank you to Patrick Jean. And of course, thank you to Jonathan. And Jonathan, we got some more work to do because your girl, listen, life has been lifing for me. It has been lifing. And so, and then my mom has been sick. So life has been life, and don't come on my page with no mess. I'm just saying, be intentional with respect and love. Be intentional with it. Because I am. I'm very intentional with it. So somebody asks, oh, I love y'all too. And I thank everybody for hanging in there. So if nothing else, the show the residents will hold them accountable to have it on the internet, record the resident, and people need to share. I didn't even share 810 Flint's article. I did not. So Lori, you know, I didn't put that article out there. I did not. I didn't write that and put it out there. But you can fix this, girlfriend. Go ahead. You can fix it. You can fix it. So we are going to do another date. So look for the posting. So look for the post. So tomorrow, 9 to 11 on the SNL. That is Sheena and Landon. Landon has had a show for years. And then Sheena was doing a show with me. Y'all, she dumped me to you know, she would Landon. But anyway, Sheena helps out with a little bit of everything. But her and Landon have a funny show. And so it's a morning show, and it's not based on just Flint. So if you want a break from the monotony, you want something different, tune in to them because Flint can be exhausting. So, all right. Just waiting for B. Marie to make approval. All right, listen, I appreciate each and every one of y'all and sending from my heart to y'all. And I don't have my nails done yet. I ain't even when I got my nails done. So y'all know your girl been tired and busy. So listen, from my heart to y'all, thank you for giving me your time tonight. Give me the opportunity to spend time with you. And we're going to go into a whole other things because your girl ain't been on. I missed y'all. Anyway, so let's wind it up. We out of here. Thank y'all.
It's the Tanya Burn Show. Tune in right now. Like and share. Our city needs that vibe. to share. When we fight the darkness, we repair. Won't give up, we're standing tall and proud. Voices rising strong, no longer shrouded. Residents deserve what's right and fair. Together we can lift the despair. We fight, we win, we break the chains. Tanya Burns won't stand out in the rain. Our city dreams will make them true. With every step it all renews. In a step it all renews.